It's still going live. Hang on. Okay.
Hey everybody, this is Kody Bateman here at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We're here getting ready to get started with this Go Live meeting. We're real excited. If you're getting on here right now, you're probably seeing some really good looking people next to me here. I got three incredible guests that are going to be on this call today, and we're going to be talking about a really cool subject, relationship marketing at its very best. You know, we've got some great stories in store for you today. If you're in any type of business, if you run a business, if you're in sales of any type, if you're responsible for bringing on sales or retaining customers or generating referral business, or you're interested in that kind of thing, this is the call for you. This is a very exciting call with some incredible stories. My job today is to simply interview these three amazing people and have them share how they've implemented relationship marketing into their business. What's cool about today's call is there's three completely different types of businesses that we're going to feature today. So we're excited. Real quick, first, just a little bit about me. I've been doing this stuff for quite a while now. You know, many years ago, I started a company to basically help people be nice to each other. People ask me all the time, Kody, what do you do? I says, well, I teach people how to be nice to each other. And that's pretty much what I do. And I have a phone app that helps you do that. You know, we have a system that helps you to send out greeting cards and gifts to people in your personal life and in your business. And we started this out just having a lot of fun. And most people would start out just using it in their personal life. But here's what we found out over the years is that people quickly started using it for their business. And next thing I know, we become the relationship marketing company of companies. I mean, we literally become relationship marketing experts with the premier relationship marketing system in the world today. That's what we've evolved into. You know, we've sent, oh my goodness, we've sent over 160 million real greeting cards out to people for the people that use our service. Over 160 million greeting cards, over 6 million gifts. We've taught personal development and relationship marketing seminars and courses all over the world for the past 14 years. And again, it's basically, we just teach people how to be nice to each other. We celebrate life. We appreciate people while they're living. And what you send out in life is what comes back to you. So it's a great movement. It's a lot of fun. So enough about me. I'm going to jump right in. We got three incredible stories we want to feature today. The first one, every once in a while I got to put on my glasses here, you know, but I look really good, I think. So, so anyways, I'm going to start my first interview here. Andre Perdue. Andre Perdue is a manager of Red Rock Collision based out of Cottonwood, Arizona. Andre, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing fantastic. Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for being with us. Really appreciate you being on here.
My pleasure.
You know, Andre, you and I have had some discussion. In fact, I did an event a couple of weeks ago, and we asked you to come up on the stage and share your story, and it was absolutely incredible. You're in the collision business, so if somebody wrecks their car, they come to your place and get an estimate to get their car fixed and perhaps get their car fixed with you. And probably most of us on this call have had an experience before with a company like yours. Now, you started with Red Rock Collision about 15 months ago. Is that right?
Yes, I've been with the company about 15 months.
Okay. And so you started there 15 months ago. And when you got there, you brought with you what you call a business philosophy. I like what you call it. I gotta read this. This is exactly your words. The business philosophy of the three-legged stool. So Andre has a business philosophy of the three-legged stool that you actually brought to this collision business with you. Can you share with us what that is?
Sure. Basically, it's the three things: deliver a great product or service, or sometimes it's both. Have great communication, not only with your people, but also with your customers and clients. And then also have a way to appreciate your customers and even your employees.
Okay, so pretty simple. So three things. If you're not taking notes, take notes, because this is good stuff. The three-legged stool is provide an impeccable service, which obviously you do there, and communicate not only with your customers, but your employees too. You know, all this applies to both customers and employees. So have a great product, communicate, impeccable communication. And the third one is show appreciation. Now, when you got started there, you know, that company was doing a couple of those things. Based on what you told me is they were pretty light in the appreciation area. And when you came there 15 months ago, you incorporated an appreciation program with that company. So I want you to share that with us. In fact, what you told me, what you shared with me before, is that there's really two primary types of people that you follow up with. One is somebody that comes in and gets an estimate, and the other is somebody that you actually do business with. Can you share with us that process of what you do with those people?
Well, as most people know, most people in the body shop, they're instructed to go get 3 estimates. So that's exactly what people do. They'll come see us. If we've never met them before, or they're not already a prior customer, they'll come in and ask for an estimate. And if they do not schedule with us, in other words, the job has not been captured for whatever reason, I will send them a thank you card. And the thank you card just simply says, hey, thanks for coming in to see us at Red Rock Collision. We appreciate you. I don't ask for anything. And that's one of the things that I send out when they come in and they just get an estimate.
Okay, now I want to make sure that everybody hears your story right. So these are people that have not done business with you yet.
Right. This is a new customer, a new prospect, as we call them sometimes. It's nobody we've done business with before, but somebody that could be a customer but hasn't I don't want to say signed up, but has not signed a repair order to have their car repaired.
So you told me a story about a lady that came in and you sent an estimate to. That's a great story. If you recall that, can you share that with us?
Sure. We had a gal who, again, was getting her 3 estimates. And she came in and I wrote her an estimate. She had already had her other 2 estimates. So she left and I followed up with a phone call with no answer. She didn't answer the phone, but I did send her a thank you card to say, hey, thanks for coming in. And about 3 or 4 days later, she called, actually it was about 7 days later, the following week, she called back and said, hey, I'd like to go ahead and schedule the repair. And I'm like, fantastic. And so we got her Subaru scheduled in. And before she hung up the phone, she says, hey, I want you to know something. And I said, well, what's that? She goes, well, I want you to know that you were not the least expensive estimate. But the reason I'm scheduling and I want to have my car fixed with you is because you sent me that thank you card. And I really appreciated that. And if you are that thoughtful to do such a thing, send me a card, then you know what? I really need to have my car fixed with you guys. And so she did.
Wow, that's a great story. You know, smart people have done studies and they've determined that less than 3% of people actually send a thank you card to people they may be doing business with. And the number one way to get people to want to come back to you is a thank you card. So the number one way to generate generate people that like your business, want to come back as a thank you card, but almost nobody does it. So that's a great story. And you not only send thank you cards to people that you do business with, but people you don't do business with. And I think it's just a lost art. I mean, most people don't ever get treated that way. And so it really does set you apart. So it's a great story. In fact, and the other thing is your customers. So as somebody go through the process, tell us how you follow up with those folks.
So we'll do the repair, and naturally we have pictures of the car before the loss, before we actually fix it. And then when they come to pick up the car, of course, I take pictures of the car when it's done. And so when it's done, I like to get a picture of the customer standing in front of their car, done and all repaired. And then they get in their car and they leave. And then immediately I go in the office and I send them hey, thank you for your business. We really appreciate you choosing and trusting Red Rock Collision. And so in the card, there'll be the before, when it was damaged. And then, of course, them with a picture of them with the car done. And we also send a little gift too. It's usually some goodies or some brownies or something to really let them know that, hey, we appreciate them. And not just saying thank you once we give them the keys and they leave, but really letting them know that we appreciate them as a customer and want to continue to do business with them. And they always do with us. And with the what happens is they end up calling back about 4 days later and saying, wow, thank you so much for the gift. The brownies were fantastic. Thank you for the card. We will never use anybody else. You guys are awesome. And it's just the feedback is fantastic.
So, okay, great stories. And so, but you're talking about, there's a lot of people listening right now that are probably thinking, oh my goodness, he sends a real greeting card with a before picture and an after picture. How in the world do you do that? I mean, so tell us a little bit about the process of how you do it. Obviously, you use the system that we have here. Just tell us the process of how long it takes you to actually do it.
So what we do is we use my phone. We have an app, as you mentioned, and we utilize the app, and we take photos with my phone on the app, and it goes right into the system. And I go in there, and I already have their address in there because we already kind of get ready for them because we know we're going to send every customer a thank you card, and we send them a card, and it's a customized card, and it takes about 30 seconds. Wow. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it makes just such a huge impact, and everything done from my phone. And then I go in the office and I just hit the submit button.
Well, it's incredible. And I know you've gotten some great results. You not only do this in your business, you do this card thing in your everyday life. You mentioned to me that once you start using this app that you talked about, you use it in your business. Obviously, you gave us 2 examples of that, but you use it in everyday life. In fact, you told me a story about going to a restaurant once. You got to share that. It was a great story.
Yeah, this was a couple of months ago. We went to a restaurant, and it had big windows up front. We were sitting up front, and we're looking out the window. It was me and my son Frankie, and this older couple. The old man had fallen, and he dropped his takeout food and everything. And, naturally we were like, oh my gosh, we need to go out there and help this guy. So me and my son ran out there. We helped pick him up off the ground, get his food in the car. And he was like, thank you so much. And so we go back in the restaurant because we were still waiting on our food, and went in there to eat. Well, the owner of the restaurant, her name happens to be Susie. She sees all this unbeknownst to us and says, hey, you guys, I seen what you did. And that was pretty cool. You know what? Dessert's on me. So she brings out dessert, and we all have ice cream sundaes or whatever. And then, so I just take a picture of it, and I get her address, and I get her business card, and I send her a thank you card and just say, hey, thanks a lot for the dessert. And so about a month and a half later, she comes in and she goes, hey, I wrecked my, now bear in mind, I didn't know this was her because, I forget and I'm old. So she comes in and she goes, I need an estimate on my car. We write an estimate. I schedule her in, and it's to the tune of about $6,000, this repair. And she's about ready to walk out the door. And this always happens to me. They say, hey, I want you to know something. And I'm like, what's that, Susie? She goes, now, bear in mind, I had forgotten up until this point that I've done this, that I sent her the card. She goes, I just want you to know the reason I'm here is because you sent me that thank you card. And at this point, I still wasn't sure. And she goes, remember, at the restaurant? I'm like, and then I remembered. I was like, oh, that's right. She goes, yeah, you sent me that thank you card for giving you the dessert. And I just, that's why I'm here. And that made an impact on me. And that just really, I thought that was really cool. And that's why I want to do business with you. Wow. And my heart just sunk, and I thought, well, that's fantastic. So you don't turn this stuff off, as I heard somebody say one time, and it just, everything matters. Every little thing you do matters, and it may take weeks, months, but you don't sit there and wait for it. But when it happens, wow, it's fantastic.
So relationship marketing is not something you do. It's who you are. I mean, you share that with your stories. You can't turn it off now. It's like it's just what you do all the time.
Yes.
What you send out is what comes back to you. And I love your stories because they really convey that. Now, just final thought. There's a lot of people on this call that are going, okay, Andre, they're awesome stories, cool. You make people feel good. That's great. But I'm in a business. I need to know, what does this mean? What has this done for your business? So share with our audience what this activity in the last 15 months has done for your business.
Well, along with everything that, you have to get everything right. The first processes have to be, to get to level one, you got to make sure you do everything right. You got to repair the car right. You have to have that communication. But this third piece is so important because it really just nails the deal as far as getting people to be your loyal raving fans. And so what it's done for us, in answer to the question, is we have grown tremendously in the past 15 months. We quantify it by, we've gone back and looked at our numbers. We have 2 shops. In this shop here, we've increased sales by 60%. In one shop.
Wow.
And it's just, we've had to increase staff. We've also, the car count has gone up. The way that we satisfy our customers, our what we call CSI, Customer Service Index, has just skyrocketed. And I have to attribute it to this system, Send Out Cards, that we've been using.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I appreciate the stories that you've shared with us today, Andre. And we'll feature you in the upcoming on the Kody Bateman webpage. We'd like to feature your story there. People can go to kodybateman.com and they can see 2-minute tips and different stories like this. So we'd like to invite you to share that story on there as well. I'm going to move on to our next guest, Mary June Collins, based out of Tempe, Arizona. Mary June, how are you doing today? It's great to have you with us.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on, Kody. What a privilege.
Well, it's a privilege to have you on. Again, like Andre, you also shared your story at one of our recent events. In fact, both of you shared your stories the same day. And you added so much, both of you guys added so much to the seminar that day on your stories. You have an absolutely amazing story. Your husband owns a scrap metal recycling company, again, based out of Tempe, Arizona. And rather than get into a bunch of questions, I'd just like for you to just tell the story. I mean, your entire story, the way that you did it at that event, because it's so powerful. If you could share that with us.
Sure, I'd love to. So it's been about 5 years ago that my husband opened up this new business, and it was supposed to be kind of a fun retirement business. And it's a scrap metal recycling plant. And gosh, for the first couple of years, it was going really well. I mean, for a new business, it was doing great. And then in the 3rd year of his business, 2015, the metal market crashed. And I mean, it really crashed. It was like one of the lowest points in history. So overnight, the scrappers stopped scrapping. We had no business. We had no customers. And that went by a couple months, and our business was just hanging on by a thread. And at the very same time, I had gone to a business networking, it's called BNI, Business Networking International. I had gone to a leadership meeting, and it was one of those all-day things. And the very last speaker was Jordan Adler, and he was speaking on Send Out Cards. And it's funny, when I think back today, I almost didn't stay because I was like, I am starving. I got to get out of here. I almost didn't stay, but something inside of me said, no, you need to listen to this. So I sat down, and Jordan got up and he started talking about how to turn 10 business cards into 100 customers by doing 5 things. And those 5 things were all about sending out cards and gifts that you would touch that customer 5 times a year. And so I just sat there, and I was just so overwhelmed thinking about, I really need to do this for my husband's business. I mean, after all, that's what we needed. We needed customers to stay alive. So as soon as he was done speaking, I ran out in the lobby, I hunted him down, and I talked to Jordan for a few minutes. And he was so gracious. And he actually said, yes. He goes, you just need to do this. And so he connected me with George Redheffer, and I signed up a couple days later. And I remember signing up with the marketing bundle because I just loved everything about it. I loved the fact that I could brand the back of the card with my husband's branding. And I wanted all those points. I knew that I was going to send out cards to every single one of his customers right away. And so I went with the marketing bundle, and I just went home and started sending out cards. And I really didn't even know what I was doing, but I actually have the card with me today. It's a very plain card, but I'll show it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And it's a scrap metal. It says, "Thanks, man."
Oh, I love it. That's cool.
And very simple, as you can see, just, you know, a little appreciation in here, really pouring out my heart and just thanking them for their business. And then on the back of the card, I even put, this is his scrap metal. This is an excavator, and it's on his scrap metal property.
Wow.
So that's the simple little card.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
I'll tell you what, that card worked. I sent it out to all of his customers, and the very next month, we had 42 new referral customers, and it literally kept our business alive.
Wow.
And we were overwhelmed. We are absolutely overwhelmed with the results from a card. But now when I think about it, you know, scrappers, a lot of the scrappers came in and they said, "Dennis, you sent me a card?" I mean, they're not used to getting cards. The last time they got a card, they couldn't even remember.
Wow.
And so they were just so grateful for just getting the card. And we still have those customers today. The customer retention is just amazing just because of that one card. And a couple months later, so then we were able to pay the bills. We were able to pay the rent on the land that we're leasing, and we stayed alive. But a couple months later, I mean, the metal market stayed flat. And so a couple months later, I said, well, let's do the card thing. The card thing worked. And so it was St. Patrick's Day. And I said, they're all getting a St. Patrick's Day card. That's all there is to it. I don't care if they're Irish or not. They're getting a St. Patrick's Day card. So we did. We just made up a card, sent it out to all of his customers. In the middle of March, that was St. Patrick's Day, nothing was coming in. But by the end of March, we had $30,000 worth of business come in, and we were able to once again pay the rent on our land.
Wow. Incredible story. So this literally saved your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And from that time on, because really the market, it goes up a little bit, you know, it goes up a little bit, goes back down, up and down, up and down. But our retention is so strong. It's because we still just keep sending out those thank you cards. Almost every time somebody brings in a big load, we'll send them cards and brownies. And so maybe they're just coming in for the brownies. I don't know, but who cares? You know, we're still alive. Great. And 2 years later today, we just, that's how we get new prospects. Dennis will walk into a business, because 90% of our business comes from other businesses. And so he'll go into a business, and most of the time they don't want to talk to him. We already got a scrap guy. We already got somebody we're using. We're happy with them. But he'll come home and give me their business card, and I'll send them cards and brownies. And don't you know, the next week he's in their office, and 70% of the time that we have sent card and brownies to prospects, we have gotten their business.
And I want to make sure everybody heard what you just said. So 70% of the time you send a card to prospect, you get business. I mean, there's numbers like that do not exist in marketing today. They just don't.
No.
So, yeah.
It is. It's huge. We love it. Our goal is to get 5 prospects a week and send them cards and brownies. And that's how we're building our business today. And today we have a big business. It's not small anymore.
Yeah. In fact, if you don't mind, you shared with me some numbers.
Yes.
Well, if you want to share, tell us the size of your business today. How you doing?
So in today's world, he does $400,000 worth of steel a month, and he does $50,000 worth of copper, brass, and aluminum. So we're not the little guy on the block anymore.
Wow.
And we distribute it all to send out cards because it's the only marketing we do.
So the card system that you use, and you do it from your phone or from your computer, it's a real card that goes out. And you're saying that's the only method of marketing that you use today. and you become one of the larger players in your market in the scrap metal business.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing this today. We really appreciate that. It's just an amazing story. Want to go on to our final guest here today, Dave Smith, based out of Draper, Utah. Dave's got an interesting story, and it's he used this system kind of similar to how Mary June used it, in that he sent out cards to groups of people. And Mary June, you sent out cards to groups of people and got huge results from it. Dave has an interesting story. First of all, welcome to the call, Dave. Appreciate you being with us.
Thanks. Awesome to be here, man.
Yeah. So Dave, I want you all to imagine this. You're asked by a family member, in this case, it was his dad. So let's say your mom or dad comes to you and says, hey, I've got a business that's failing. You need to go turn it around for me. And you know very, very little about the business. And that's what your dad asked you to do, right? I mean, in this case, it was a bowling alley. Your dad runs a couple of bowling alleys, and your dad's in poor health right now. And so he asked you to come and basically rescue one of his bowling alleys, and you knew very little about it. Now, one thing about Dave, Dave's a seasoned business guy. I mean, he's been very successful in other businesses, in the construction business, in direct sales and network marketing. He's a relationship marketing expert. So you've had some great success in other businesses, but how much did you really know about bowling alleys?
Yeah, I didn't know much at all about bowling alleys. In fact, Dad's the one that taught me all the other businesses that I ended up getting into. But when he said the bowling alley's failing, I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do here? It's an hour and a half. First of all, it's an hour and a half drive from me, and it's 3.5 hours from him. So I'm closer. And so that's one of the reasons I decided to take it on. But I knew nothing about bowling other than I did a league with my dad when Lori and I were first married. So we did that for a couple years, and that's about it, So when I first got there to the bowling alley, no one knew who I was. I kind of look a little bit like my dad, so they kind of were questioning who this guy over here that looks like a much, much younger version of their owner. And anyway, they started asking me questions, and I got to know a lot of the people there. And the first thing I could tell needed to be done was we needed new management there. So we picked that out. They actually stood right out from us. We knew exactly who was going to be the new manager. And then once we put that new manager in place, I went to her and said, do you have a database? And she goes, well, all we have is a list of league bowlers. And I says, okay, is that in Excel? Because I need the Excel file. She goes, no, that's all on paper. This is a small town, out in the middle of Utah, and a very small town. So she gives me this paper. There's like 5 or 6 sheets of paper that we literally had to go in and type in all the names and addresses. About 173 people we ended up typing in. Now, these were people that had been on leagues the past 5 or 6 years. But leagues were way down from where they were. And we had nothing going on in the summers at all. Summers was just a loss. 3 or 4 months, just a loss. So what we did with that list is, after painfully typing it all in instead of using an Excel spreadsheet, we got it all in there, and we just simply sent a card to all of the league, past league members. And this was right before the summer league started. So winter leagues were just getting over. And the summer league, we only have one night a week where we do a fun summer league. And the prior year, there was very few people that even showed up to that summer league, and we needed it, right, to hold on through the summer. And so we sent 173 people from the past 5 years that have bowled with us, and the summer league literally increased from the past couple of years more than 63%. 63% more people showed up to the summer league, which saved basically the summer for the bowling alley.
So that was one card campaign, just one card to 170 people.
Yeah, and it was just simply thanking them for, bowling in the past with us on leagues and things like this. We even gave them a free game inside the card, because we thought that would get them out to see the new manager and things like that. And it took off like crazy. And what's interesting from that one card, now we collect birthdays and stuff like that, and we send our league bowlers and a lot of our customers that want to get a birthday card from us, we collect all that information and send those out. But what's interesting is after that summer league was over, we sent another card out telling them about the winter leagues are just starting, and winter leagues increased by 40%.
Wow.
So now we're like the heroes, and we had no clue what we were doing. It's pretty cool.
You know, for a lot of people that are listening in for the first time, these numbers that are being shared are literally, they're unbelievable numbers. Anybody that has a marketing system knows that, you know, whatever you do, if you get a 2 to 3 to 4% response rate, it's considered good. We're throwing out numbers, you know, 60% increase, 70% increase, 40% increase, just by some simple things. Now, Dave, you've really become a relationship marketing expert. Why do you think that? Why is it that the tangible touch? You know, this is a tangible touch. It's a greeting card that comes in the mail. You feel it, you touch it, you open it. Why is it that you think that this approach versus what everybody else is doing in the world today in marketing? Why do we get such good results?
Well, most businesses the past 10 years have moved to like an email or a social media type appreciation. And that's digital and it's gone in 2 seconds, right? I mean, we don't even open the emails. So these people are literally getting a hand addressed envelope, first class postage addressed to them, and they get to feel it, touch it, and they're going, and you know, they feel appreciated. But even more than that, in our instance with the bowling center, they were curious too. Not only did they feel appreciated after bowling there for years and with no appreciation for years, actually, they get appreciated for bowling, and they may not have been there for 2 years, right? So now they feel appreciated. They're also curious to see who the new management is. She's homegrown right there in the town, and they come in and meet with her, and it's a phenomenal experience to be able to make people feel good. I mean, you know, Kody, you teach all the time, whatever you appreciate appreciates. And that's what I had in my mind when I was looking around going, oh no, what do I do? And then it popped in my head, whatever you appreciate appreciates. So let's appreciate these past customers, and that will appreciate our business. And that's what happened.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you, what a great call here today. All three of you did a phenomenal job sharing with us your stories. People love stories, and you shared some great ones today. By the way, these stories, along with many, many others from many different industries, are featured on KodyBateman.com, Kody Bateman, Bateman.com. You can go there. It's got, you know, articles and different things you can read. There's 2-minute tips, which are videos that people are just capturing stories like this. We have people in real estate and insurance and annuities and car sales, now in sheet metal and collision deals and bowling alleys. I mean, that's what's cool, is that you see that what we're doing in relationship marketing really works. And so I encourage you to go on there and do that. Any final thoughts from any of you as we close up the call today? And again, thank you all very much for being on with us. Just any final thoughts you'd like to share with our guests today, we would appreciate it. By the way, those of you, if you want to know more about the system and what's being used here, simply just get back with the person that shared this video with you today, and they can give you more information about how you can use our system. So please do that. Again, any final thoughts from any of you? Go ahead.
I have one I just like to share with. It kind of resonates after listening to Dave's and Mary June's experience and mine as well. But I think if we as business people, or just people in general, understand that customers are people. And so when we personalize the experience, that's the difference. So customers are people, so let's personalize the experience. And that's what we do with these cards, is we personalize the experience they're going to have with us as a customer. And the unique thing about it is nobody else is going to do it except us. And so it definitely distinguishes us in the marketplace, or whatever market we're in, whether it's bowling alleys or scrap metal or body shops. We're definitely going to set ourselves above the competition. And so and if you're going to give customers the ultimate experience, give them an experience. We do that with the.
Thank you, Andre. Appreciate it.
Yeah, one thing I would say, Kody, is we kind of all talk about our customers because that's what increases the bottom line, and that's kind of what we all kind of focus on. But in another business I've used this type of system, this type of strategy for vendors, and I can't tell you the favors and the relationships that have grown because I sent vendors cards and brownies and things like that. So yeah, it's not just about customers and clients and all that kind of stuff, or even prospects, people that should be buying from you that maybe aren't yet, but the vendors will become a referral source for you if you treat them right too. So
Absolutely. Thank you. Mary June, any final thoughts?
Gosh, I think we've covered it all. I just love their testimonies. And I don't know, it's fun being on here with you today. And it's just, as a whole, the Send Out Cards family, I mean, they're just so amazing, so generous, so loving, so caring. I mean, when you come in to Send Out Cards, you come into a whole family of just wonderful people. And that I'm so, so grateful for.
Well, thank you, Mary June. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, all you guests, for being on here today. Again, get back with the person that shared this with you. They can share with you more about how you can get involved with the system. Again, we're just about helping people be nice to each other. That's really what it's all about. I get into Uber drivers all the time. They all say I teach people how to be nice to each other, which is what we do. And then it always brings on further conversation. And next thing you know, they're using our system. And we need this in the world today, friends. We're bringing the human race together through kindness. And the world needs that right now. We really, really need it, not only in our business, but in our personal life as well. Let's go out there and be an inspiration to the world. We have a mechanism for positivity. We can send positivity to the world every single day. We simply do that by sharing appreciation of other people, celebrating other people. That's really what we do. And so I just want to thank everybody for being on here, and we'll probably see us doing this in the future. So thanks again, everybody. Take care. We're out.
See ya.